There we go. Now we got to be official. All right, go ahead and type it in.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dang, I'll hit tab. Sign in. Ready? Okay, it didn't like that. Try it again.
Caps lock. Oh, caps lock.
Oh, your caps lock was on. Now, everything I do today is for a reason, because there are people in here that have not used MyLabs Plus. Did we talk about this already? How many people in Pendleton have used it before? One person. Okay. How many in Easley? 2 people. How many in Oconee? I see 1, but I don't see the other side. 2. How many are up there? 3 or 4? I always see 3 people. Okay.
3.
Okay, and how many of y'all have used it? 1. So, there are people in here that have never used it. I have a 110 class and a 120 class. 0 people have used it. So it's a good thing that I'm going through this, so that way you'll know what's going on. All right. Why is it pulling up? Why you have so many? Oh, because of the polycom. Yes. All right. Which one is Math 111? Which one is the?
We're 7.
7? Okay. So you click onto this. You shouldn't be pulling up all those. It's pulling up all those. Did you drop this one and add this one?
I did not.
Oh, well, we're not going to worry. We're not going to worry about that. That dog won't hunt. Let's go to MyLabs Plus. On the left side, I put it right below getting started, unless I was not sober, and then I put it probably down at the bottom. I don't know where I put it. But I put MyLabs Plus. Now, watch this, because it may do it, it may not do it. Some of you were hitting MyLabs Plus in Blackboard, and it just spins.
Yes, I'm on there.
Okay? Now, there it is. Up in the right-hand corner, I want y'all all to look. Up in the right-hand corner, there is a red box. Not beside your name, but up here in the address bar. Right-click on that red box and put Load Unsafe Scripts. That should work. If it doesn't, there'll be another red box, and you have to allow pop-ups. So you need to put 2 things. You need to put Load Unsafe Scripts and allow pop-ups. Now, if you go through the website, then you won't have to worry about it. It's just through Blackboard. Why in the heck you have to go through Blackboard to do this, I don't know. Now, I'm going to go and log myself in. Thank you. Give me that. Now you're logged on. That really was awful, wasn't it? It takes at least 3 or 4 days, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Took about 45 seconds. But some people could break an anvil with a banana. Some people are looking up anvil right now. Sad. It's your parents' fault. And that is you, so I need to get off of that. There we go. Okay, and y'all are Math 111, so we're going to go to this one. And this is what your Math 111 looks like. Now, we're going to write down 4 things, but right now I just want you to say the 4 most important. I want you to write down the buttons. I want you to leave about 3 or 4 lines between each button so you can write stuff between them. Because this is for the people that have never seen MyLabs Plus. The first important button, I know it sounds like common sense, but it's the one that says assignments. Okay? It says assignments. Now, let me go ahead and tell you this. For some reason, MyLabs Plus is running like 10 times slower than it usually is. That's temporary. It does not. This is the first semester I've ever seen it run this slow. So I don't think it's Tri-County Tech because it's running slow at my house. So there's something wrong with MyLabs Plus. I don't know what's wrong with it, but hopefully they'll get it straightened out. The assignments, what are in assignments? Your homework, your test, and your final exam. So don't be the student that emails me at the end of this weekend that says, where do I find my homework? Okay? So under assignments. Now we're going to go to the assignments when it finally comes up. I don't know why it's taking this long. But the assignments, the homework, is where you find the buttons that are going to help you, especially if you've never seen the material before or you're reviewing. And this is outrageous. It should not be taking this long. Have any of you experienced it being slow at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's being slow for all of us, I think.
Everything's slow in my house.
Okay, well, this is very unusual. There must be a problem because usually it's just like that. And I've been dealing with My Labs Plus and my math lab and Course Compass for about 15 years. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Wow. They must be working on it.
They emailed that Pearson was having issues.
Yeah, they said Pearson is down.
Okay. Well, great.
That's what I saw. It's like 30 problems.
My e-text worked and it, but
Okay, let me see if I can do this. Course assignments. I'm going to go in another way, if it'll work. Assignment manager, come on, you can work. I'm going to go in and show you, hopefully, well, I did this in the last class, so it should be working. Damn Russians. Whenever something don't go your way, you always blame somebody else. Blame the Russians. It was Bush, but now it's the Russians. Oh, come on.
Yesterday I spent like $300 on Facebook.
Has anybody got on their laptops? Is it coming up?
Let me.
I work for assignments.
No ETS, when it will be back.
Okay, all right, well, we'll do this then. The four important buttons, and we'll just keep trying, are assignments, and put out beside assignments, put homework, tests, and exams. Gradebook, this is no joke, I have to go through Gradebook. Why do I have to go through Gradebook? Because somebody in this class will email me after the final exam week and ask me, what is my grade? And a lot of people say, well, Hubert, they just don't know. Where do you do all your assignments? On My Labs Plus, right? So where would your grade be? Nope, I'm going to take the grade out of My Labs Plus and do the extra work to put it in my computer so I can keep your grade from you. That's what I'm going to do. Gradebook is where you not only can find your grade, but you can also review your test and homework. You take your test, all 4 tests. If you want to review for the final exam, you have to review them through Gradebook. There will be a link beside your test and your homework that says review. And you can review your homework as well as your grade and your grade calculations through Gradebook. Those are the 2 most important because that has to do with your grade. Assignments and Gradebook. E-text. E-text is where you can print out your own book by sections. I doubt it will work either
I think that part is work.
because it's separate, probably.
Because it's like been loaded forever.
Flash.
Alex, it's been loaded for a long time.
Yeah, it's probably protected against the Russians also. The damn Russians beat you up and throw you in a van. You gotta watch them. Yep, it's not working either. If it does work, there'll be a print button. You pull it up by sections and pages and you print it out. Now, let's talk about books. Do you have to bring a book to this class? No. The only thing I want you to bring to this class is graph paper, pencils, colored pencils, highlighters, something to differentiate 2 graphs on a piece of graph paper. Okay? whether it's colored pencils, crayons, or highlighters. The reason I don't want you to use Sharpies, I love Sharpies. They smell good too. I love Sharpies, but the reason you don't want to use Sharpies is they bleed through the paper, and it makes a mess. So don't use Sharpies unless that's the only thing you can steal or, calculator and notebook. That's the only thing I ask that you bring to class. You can bring an old book, you can bring a used book, you can share a book, you can print out your book, or you can bring no book. I don't care. Don't go to the bookstore and tell them I told you not to buy a book. I didn't say that. But some of y'all will go to the bookstore and say that I told you not to buy a book. I didn't say that. I said you can bring what you want to bring as far as a book. Everybody has access to the ebook as soon as you get on to MyLabs Plus. Hopefully it will work in the future. Chapter contents. That's the fourth button. Chapter contents gives you access to the videos for the section. I'm going to pull up 1.1. I have no idea what 1.1 is. But there's the videos. And it's probably going to take forever to work there. The e-text, where you can pull up the text. Study plan. Write down study plan. Study plan gives you extra problems to work per section. Now, what does the word extra mean? That means extra practice. It means beyond the scope of your grade. So these do not count for a grade. They do not count for anything, but they help you with your practice, with your repetition. They're the same problems. You can send them to me. Wait a minute, that might work. I might get in that way because it's different from the homework. I'm just going to leave it up there. Now, with the homework and the study plan, there's 4 or 5 buttons you need to write down. One is called Help Me Solve This. Help Me Solve This is like a guided tutorial. What is a guided tutorial? A guided tutorial is the tutor that you go to in the tutoring lab, and instead of just showing you how to do the problem, they ask you 15,000 questions while they're showing you how to do the problem. 2x plus 4 is equal to 6. Okay, what is this? This is an equation. What do we do when we want to solve an equation? We've got to get the variable by the self. How do we get the variable by the self? We need to move the positive 4. How do we move that positive 4? That's a guided tutorial. Now, unless you're weird, you would not know that, okay? Because you're not teachers. So, a guided tutorial. When would a person use a guided tutorial? When they are not familiar with the material. When the material is brand new to them. Such as the calculus in a calculus problem. All right? Now, you've heard me say this. 80% of calculus is algebra, 10% is trig, and the other 10% is calculus. So the only part about calculus is the new stuff that you've never seen before. Okay? That's when you would use Help Me Solve This. I think that's the first one. The second one is called Example. See an example, I think it is. It's the second button. I never pay attention to the names of the button. I just hit them. Okay? The second button is the tutorial without questions. Write down tutorial without questions. 90% of you will use this button. There we go. We're cooking with peanut oil now. There's Help Me Solve This. View an example. View an example does not ask questions. Just show me how to do it. Who uses this? 90% of you use it. Review. Write down review. Because most of you have had Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 or Algebra 3 or Pre-Cal, and you are reviewing. So that's when you use View an Example. Video. That's for you visual learners. Mostly guys. Guys are good visual learners. I don't need no directions. I can put this together, just show me the picture. Meanwhile, Johnny jumps on his bicycle at Christmas and the wife or the girlfriend goes, "What's all this?" And the guy goes, "Oh, that's extra parts." Meanwhile, Johnny's got a broke leg because the front wheel fell off and he's in a ditch. Okay? Guys are visual learners. Before GPS, guys would never ask for what? Directions. And you'd ride beside the same pink Volkswagen sitting in the parking lot of the Minute Mart 15 times. Okay? The whole point is, some of us are visual learners, or try to be. The video is for visual learners. Textbook, that's for you readers. That's for you people that can read East of Eden in like 2 days. All right? That's for people that want to go directly to the book. And instead of pulling out your book and going to the table of contents or going to the index, you can just go directly to the book. Some of you like that. Print. Now this is a double-edged sword sometimes. Okay, you don't print the whole assignment, you just print the question. I don't know who would use this. Now, when we were first starting using MyLabs Plus back in 2000, 2003, somewhere in there, students would bring, before they had to ask my instructor, students would print off questions and bring them and put them on my desk. And I would go over them, okay, on the board. But Ask My Instructor took over that. So really, unless you just want to do it by paper, and you don't want to use your notebook paper, you want to use kill a tree and print out this on a piece of paper, do it on, that's the only reason you need this. Okay? Now, the most important question is right there. That's the most important box. Ask My Instructor. Now, of course, since it's down, it's not, I tried to send one 8 o'clock this morning, and I still haven't received it. Usually, when you hit Ask My Instructor, it will, put a message there, you suck, and send. Boom. It will send it directly to my email. I go to my email account. I'll show you what it looks like right quick, because I'm going to have to go to, because it's not working today. There's my 110, 109, there's 109. Y'all 111. 111, and I don't know if I have an old one, so I'm going to go to my 120 because I had to use that this morning. Okay, here's one sent last semester in 120. Don't look at the math, just look at the process. That's what shows up, and instead of asking you what number, what page, what section, I just click on this, and it pulls up the problem that you sent. Okay? Now, some of you that have never seen MyLabs Plus before, this is a great feature. Why? Because you're able to send questions without raising your hand. You're able to ask me questions without doing office hours. Okay? It's great. You need to use that. Now, let's talk about that. How do you use it? Well, you use it after I go over the problems. What does that mean, Hubert? Well, let's say that I go over 1.5 homework. I go over 1.1 today. When's the next time y'all come to class? Tuesday. So you need to have 1.1 homework done or questions sent in by Tuesday. Why? Because if I get a lot of questions, what am I going to do? I'm going to go over those questions Tuesday. If I don't get questions, what am I going to assume? Now, who's going to ruin that for everybody? The people that don't do their homework that send in 1.1 questions when I'm going over 2.6. Okay? So, if you're a procrastinator, that's not going to work in here. Because am I going to go over Mandy's 2.6 questions? Or am I going to go over Mr. Griffin's 1.1 question when we get to 2.6? I'm going to go over the 2.6 question, and I'm going to ignore the 1.1 question because, remember, we are our own decision. Your decision to not do your homework is not my fault. Okay? Your decision is, you are your decisions. So, If you send me a 1.1 problem when I'm in 2.6, I'm going to pick Mandy's over Mr. Griffin's. And then if I have some time at the end of 2.6 going over questions, I might work my way backwards and do 2.5 questions and go over, because it will put it in, let me go back to that 120. It will put them in order by sections. If I make it, I can do it by subject, and it will do it, see, by sections. So I can do it by sections, and I would go backwards. I'll do 2.6, 2.5, 2.4, and maybe, Mr. Griffin, I'll get to your 1.1, and if not, you, SOL, or you need to see me after class. Why? Because you chose to do your homework on 1.1 when we're on 2.6. Does everybody understand that? The squeaky door gets the grease. Don't give me the homework questions when I'm on another chapter, because it will be put on the back burner or office hours. Now, the best part of today I can't do, but I'll try it. Dang, did I get out of that? I suck. I told y'all I need to drink. This vodka's done run out. Let me go back to, actually, I'm not a vodka drinker. I'm not a beer drinker or a vodka drinker. I'm a, depends who I'm with, I guess. If I'm with a bunch of devil dogs, I want to drink bourbon and fight. If I'm with other people, I drink tequila. And we all know what tequila does, so I'm not going there. So anyway, make a long story short, yeah, bourbon makes you fight. Let's go with, I hope I can get into the test, because that's what I wanted to show y'all. We'll give it a second or two. Does anybody have, okay, now I'm going to get into the due dates right here. If I can get the test to come up, I'm going to go into the due dates for the homework and the test. But does anybody have any questions beside the due dates and what's going to be on the final or what's going to be on the test? I'll do that right now. But does anybody have any questions as far as the homework or the buttons that are on the homework? Anybody have any questions? Oh, one more thing and I'll go to your question. You have 3 chances at answering the question. If you get it wrong, it'll put an X on that question. Down at the bottom, you can hit similar question and you can redo it and it'll replace the X with a check. So what should everybody turn in on their homework at the end of the semester? Do they? Hell to the no. They don't do 100. I get 50s, 27. I got a 5 one time. Live PD. That's where they end up. What's your question?
So for the homework, I see right now that only the algebra review is available.
That's all I put on there.
Okay.
I'm going to put the rest of them up. I want everybody to concentrate on one. I'll probably put the others up later. Remember, MyLabs Plus did not get y'all's class up until, what, 2 days ago? Yeah. So I wasn't able to put all the homework on there. So probably this weekend I'll put all of Unit 1 on there. Does everybody understand that? And it's still not coming up. So it'll come up eventually, I hope. Let me go ahead and tell you what I do with the test. Everybody get your outline out, okay? How do you know when the test is coming? The end of the unit. What's the last unit? I'll pull it up. No, I don't want to mess up. I want to wait on this. What is the last section in Unit 1? Unit 1, be at the top. What's the last section? 2.1 or what?
9.5.
This is 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. Okay. So when we start 9.1, which will be Tuesday, and then we move along. When I get to 9.5, what's everybody supposed to be saying in their head?
Test.
With tests coming up. That's why the outline is so important. So when you ask me, when's the test coming up? I'm going to say I have no earthly idea. Because you're supposed to know that because you're following along the outline. If you choose, again, there's that word, choose. If you choose not to print out the outline and not to bring it to class every day and not to put it on the front of your notebook or your math book, that is your decision. And you are your decision making. So, if you ask me, when is the test, I'm going to say I have no earthly idea. Now, for those of you that do follow the directions and make good decisions, when you look at 9.5, and I finished today, let's say I finished today. Okay, guys, that's 9.5. So that means review Tuesday. So that means I'm going to pull the test up. Now, the only problem is I don't have a test in Math 111 right now because it's a new book. So I'm going to go, and it's probably going to take another 10 minutes. Let me go to one of my 110s. Let me go to, maybe I can pull up fall. Let's see, what was last semester? Summer. Well, here's fall. Let me just pull up one of them. I hope it will, oh, good. And I'm going to go in here and we're going to preview it. Now, before you preview it, or before you go into a test, it's going to ask you, it's going to show you when the due date is. On the left-hand side, it shows you the due date. On the right-hand side, it tells you how many minutes you have. I set all mine at 90 minutes. I'm only supposed to give you 50. I give you 90. Why? So you can't bitch about time. All right? I give you 3 attempts. It takes the higher of the 3. Why do I give you 3 attempts? Because the world ends when y'all take a test. Therefore, you have 2 more attempts after the world ends. Y'all see what I'm doing here? You have a week to take the test. Why? Because some of y'all have 10 dead grandmothers and 5 flat tires. You see where I'm going with this? Okay? So you don't have any what? Excuses. Everybody got it? Now, I will go over this test Monday. Okay, this is hypothetical for you hammies. Hypothetically, when I review the test, I pull it up in class. Do you think I'm stupid enough to give you the same test I pull up in class? No. 3 things I do to my test. 1, if I give you a 10-question test, each question pulls from 25 questions. So there's 250 questions that it can pull from on a 10-question test. 2, I randomize the order. So Mr. Griffin and Mandy could be sitting beside each other in the computer lab, but their test will look nothing alike. 3, I algorithmically generate the questions. That means Mandy may pull up question 1, which is solve for 7x is equal to 21. Mr. Griffin may pull up number 15, 8x is equal to 24. That's algorithmically generated and randomized. But the chances of him getting the same question is going to be just about 0. All right? So that's how I do the questions. Half of your bonus questions come from your handouts. Half of the other half come from DA questions in the past by students. Here's the first one. This is from your handout. This is the number 2 most missed bonus question.
What?
Yeah. And I wish somebody, I've asked all my classes this semester, I ask them every semester, how do you miss this question? Be a guest star on Live PD is all I know. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer the bonus questions. Like everything I do in this class, there's a reason. This is not your test. This is a Math 110 test. This is the first test. I've got to remake all your tests because it's a new book. Okay? And this is the first semester I'm teaching 111 out of this new book. We adopted it last spring, I think. Next question. You can go back and forth. See? If you want to skip something and come back, you can do that. Math question. This is the number 1 missed question. What is the only answer possible?
A.
A. Why do you say it's not C?
Because it doesn't add to 100.
Doesn't add to 100, DA. Exactly. Okay, this is a little bit off because, no, this was on it. I pulled up a right test because it must be fall of last year. When is the week of finals? D. Math. When is the week of finals? Is that the same one? Okay, that must be a mistake. Don't worry about that one. Math. 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 Does Hubert replace your lowest grade? Oh, this is Deadhead's question. This is the Deadhead I had 2 semesters ago in Math 120. I put this question, I've been putting these questions on the test for about 3 or 4 years now. This guy takes 3 tests. He takes 3 of the 4 tests. He answers this question 3 times, and he says at the end of the semester after grade turn in, I thought that you drop your lowest, I thought it said on the test that you drop your lowest grade and replace it with the final exam. I said, bring me your test. Print it out and bring me your test. Never did see him. But here come helicopter mom. Helicopter mom doesn't call me, calls my doctor, calls my department head. My department head said, do you know your son has a week to take those tests? He has 3 tries. And Hubert actually, at the end of the semester, gives everybody a surprise week that they can go through and make up any zeros. Did you know that? The helicopter mom said, oh. So, again, there's a chance Deadhead was telling his mother the wrong information. So, does Hubert replace your final exam grade with your lowest test or vice versa? No way, no how is the only answer you can answer that with. Why do I not? Because I give you all these bonus questions, and I give you 3 times to take the test, and I give you a week to take the test. I'm not going to give you stuff at the end of the semester. Oh, this is priceless right here. This is a handout. This is academic calendar. And I'm offended. Not once, but twice I'm offended. Student came up to me afterwards. I'm offended. And I said, why are you offended? Well, my brother's cousin's son-in-law's aunt, who married 3 times, and her ex-husband's sister's brother was in the towers, and I'm offended because you put that up there. You were making fun of September 11th. I said, first of all, ma'am, I'm not making fun of it. I'm putting it on every test, and I will do that until I retire because I don't want people to forget about it. I said, second of all, how do you feel about me using December 7th, 1941? And do you know what she said? Does anybody have a guess?
What's that?
What's that? So, whenever you have somebody say something to you, consider the source. If they don't know what Pearl Harbor is, you don't need to worry about September the 11th. The other one said that I was being sacrilegious. I was born and raised a Southern Baptist. I'm not no preacher, okay? But I got that off of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies. Judgment Day. It's the second movie in the Terminator series, I think. Judgment Day. Oh. That's what she said. Oh. Snowflakes pissed me off. And when is the last day of this semester? It will be Tuesday, December 3rd. Don't you love it? Find the difference quotient. That's the daggum math question. When does the homework terminate? Toward the end of the semester. I need to look on the damn outline. That's what I needed to put on there, but I don't. If you miss a question on a test, now this is important. If you miss a question on a test and you believe it is correct, 0.5 versus 1/2. Same line I drew here, same line I drew here. Basically, if you want to challenge a question, which one is it? Which one you think it is? B, bravo. Ask Hubert if you can meet with him after class. I personally send several emails to Hubert with the last one saying, hello. Why do I not want you to write me an email? Because I want to discuss it with you. It's called interaction. Same thing if you're in the real world with your career, and you have a problem with the way somebody does something, you have a discussion. Something that some of y'all don't know what it is. Next. That's basically domain and range, increasing and decreasing. And these are not your questions, so I don't need to worry about it. If you take several forms of a test in Hubert's class, meaning Unit 1A, Unit 2, Unit 1B, Unit 1C, 3 attempts, how is it counted?
B.
B. I will take C. C is a good answer, but I will take B. Next. This is the chick that didn't know that if you didn't turn in something, you got a 0. Miss a unit test, I'll give you a trophy. If you have incomplete assignments and put a 0 in for the grade, what will that grade do to what will that 0 do to your grade? It's going to decrease it. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, right. Math. Okay, in your grade book, same thing. You got students go through the whole semester. They do their homework, they do their test, they do their exams on MyLabs Plus, and then they call me and ask me what their grade is. After I tell them at the beginning of the semester that you need to check your grade book when you need your grade. If a student does not complete a homework assignment or a test, what will be recorded? 0. I'm sorry, I know y'all are sitting there going, I can't believe he's putting these on the test. Yeah. If you look at your overall grade one day and it has decreased, I will take A as an answer, but the answer is D, delta. Math. What branch? It's the only one that's got United States in front of it. If you put the Army, I will fail you on the spot. Math. Why does Hubert not entertain extra points, dropping any grades during the final week? Because I will take B. But the answer is, I give you 10 or 12 of these questions each test. I give you 3 chances to take the test, and I give you a week to take the test. Although covered in the handouts in the first day of class, what is the best way to communicate with Hubert? Carrier pigeon. Somebody's going to Google that. They don't know what it is. What should a student do if something happens? Oh, this is the chick. I had to go on a cruise. You had to? Whatever. What should a student do if something happens and they are out of class for a while? Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask, who's got a job at Pendleton? Pendleton campus, who's got a job? Okay, y'all suck. Who's got a job?
No.
All right, where do y'all work?
Papa John's.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you decided to go, if you had to go on a cruise, what would happen if you went on a cruise and didn't tell Papa John's?
They'd probably fire me.
They wouldn't give you a trophy? That real life's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would happen here? Where do y'all work? Where do you work?
I'm just a mom and
You
student right now.
just suck. What do you work? You work at what? Smoking pig, okay. What would happen if you had to go on a cruise and you just didn't tell them?
Oh, I'd get fired.
So, evidently the real world doesn't hand out trophies to everybody. All right? So, let me ask you a question. Who is your employer in the classroom?
You.
Your teacher, your instructor, your professor, whatever you call them. If you wouldn't do it at work, then you don't do it in your class. Well, what if I'm in a wreck? What does your mom and dad do if you're in a wreck in your work? What do? They don't call your work? Yeah, they do call your work. Somebody's going to call your work. Somebody you work with or friends with is going to call your work. So if it's good enough for your work, it's good enough for your teacher or your class or whatever. Always remember, if you're in a college setting and you are incapacitated, then it's your parents' duty or your guardian or your significant other or, in my case, it'd be my dadgum daughter, I guess, all right, to call the school and say, look, my dad's been in an accident or he's drunk and he won't wake up, whatever the case may be, all right? Trying to be a little bit, no, forget it. Sometimes just nose winged on a pickle. Anyway, the whole point is you need to what? Communicate. This is for all those DA students that ask me these stupid questions at the end of the semester like, oh, I didn't know, whatever. You really think, I've got several degrees, you really think that I'm going to believe you when you say you don't believe the incomplete or you had to go on it, but you didn't have time to call me? Yeah, whatever. I've had students call me, I'd let them take their test early, or I would set the dates to a week after they came back. I can do that. I can set the dates for each individual student. It's not a big deal. But some of y'all, not here, not y'all, but students. Now, even if you're non-sentient and don't have a clue what's going on in math class, you can still make, let's see, how many did I get right? How many are on the test? Because I'm doing a preview. There's how many questions? 33, 3 points apiece. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You at least make a 48 on the test. You remember when I told you if you ever meet somebody that makes below a 60 in my class to get away from them? You see why? It's impossible with a week to do my test. You have 3 chances on each test, 2 on the final exam, and I give you bonus questions that equal 48 points. Some of them may be 30, some of them may be 50. I don't go over 50. If you ever meet somebody that failed my class below a 60, don't believe everything they say because chances are they were lazy or they're challenged. One of the two. Questions? And like I said, I will assign the test, and I usually give you 1 class period past the, so I'll put this up and I'll say, okay, let's assign this test, and what's today? Today is the what?
22nd.
I'll get on here and I'll say settings for class. And I'll do, okay, today's the 22nd, so I'm going to pull that up right there, and then I'll go here, and I'll go, okay, 22nd, 28th. And I'll save it, and you have a week to do the test. Then I'll go through, and I will make the homework due on Tuesday, which is the class meeting after I set up the test. Why do I give y'all 1 class meeting after I set up the test to turn in your homework? So you can finish up everything and have 1 day to ask questions. So that day, so if I sign it today, Tuesday will be nothing but homework questions. What if you don't send in any homework questions? Then I'm going into Unit 2. Okay, who has questions? I've covered this so well that y'all don't have any questions. I don't believe it. Y'all don't have any questions whatsoever.
I'll do one. So you give the bonus questions on each test?
On each test. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and Unit 4. So each
Is it
one of
always
those questions
48%?
you have 4 times during the semester. You have 4 of those questions. I mean, each one of those questions, you see it 4 times before the end of the semester. Now, if I give you a test with 50 questions, then you're only going to get 24 points. If I give you a test with 3, you'll get 50 points or 48 points. It all depends on which ones I put on the test, and it all depends on how many I have on the test, how many questions in all. So it may not be 50 on each one. Everybody understand that?
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I heard a couple of people say something. Groan. Okay, no, Coney, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Easily, any questions?
No.
Pendleton, you ain't gonna say anything.
We don't have any questions.
Y'all don't have any questions? I've covered it so well. It's a miracle.
Sure did.
Okay, what's your question? Mandy has a question.
So we can do these tests at home on our personal
Yep.
computers? Okay.
Now, a lot of people, and you brought up something, a lot of people say, well, Hubert, I'm going to cheat. I don't care. Okay? People will do 3 things in life if they want it bad enough. They will steal, they will kill, and they will cheat. Okay? I don't care how many fences you put around your house. If somebody wants to get in your house, they're going to what? They're going to get in your house.
Yeah.
I don't care how many guns you take away from law-abiding citizens. People are going to what? They're going to take a knife and they still going to kill you. Okay? Or they're going to take a dadgum pipe bomb and they're going to put nails in it or whatever, and they still going to kill. When people want to do something bad enough, they're going to do it. And that includes cheating. Am I going to stop cheating in this class? No. Am I going to stop it 20 years from now? No. So I might as well accept the fact that I'm going to do my best to teach you how to do this material and give you a comfortable learning environment. Therefore, the people that want to learn and the people that want to improve themselves and not end up on live PD, those are the people that I'm helping, which is usually 80% of the class. The deadheads, I'm not going to help them anyway. Even a lobotomy is not going to help them people. The only thing that's going to help them is for them to get with the program, because guess what? You see the deadheads in your biology lab and your what? Your physics lab and your chemistry lab. How do you see the deadheads? They're the ones that don't do the what? They don't do the work in the group. Well, guess what? Those deadheads are still going to go into the real work world, and instead of getting a 0, they're going to get what? Fired. Okay? Because no matter how they try to give everybody a trophy, the real world does not give a trophy. It knocks you out, and it gives you, and it fails you. It fires you. So those people are going to get caught no matter what. So there's my take on cheating. So the 10% of this class that's going to do it, knock yourselves out. Because you're either going to end up on live PD, or you're going to turn around, or you're going to get fired, one of the 3. Okay, that takes care of the cheating. And takes care of doing it at home. You can do it at home, you can do it at work, you can do it. Do not do it in classroom, because then I'll get pissed. Okay? Because that's the whole point of me doing this, so I can spend the time in the class to do what? Teach. All right, who's got another question? Concern, gripe, complaint. I can't believe nobody's got a question. Y'all are just smart.
Will this be sort of independent of?
No, I don't like you. Go ahead. What?
Well, like, so calculus sounds like it's going to be pretty algebra dependent. Is this going to be its own thing, or is